Live, local, social. It's time for the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's news magazine show. On cable, on the web, and all over social media. Featuring stories from close to home, starring people like you. Live from Greater West Bloomfield, it's the Splash Live.
Welcome, friends and neighbors, to the Splash Live on Civic Center TV. I'm Tyler Kieft. Thank you for joining us. Earlier this week, the West Bloomfield Township Board recognized the heroic work of local police, fire, EMS, dispatch, and water department personnel in response to the attack at Temple Israel on March 12th, which helped to ensure over 100 children, as well as teachers and staff, all exiting the building safely, reflecting on the heroism of these first responders, as well as how the community-wide response defines the heart of one West Bloomfield.
Every part of the department operated at the highest level.
When everyone else is running out, you're running right into harm's way, and we see you, and we appreciate you.
A recognition for local heroes, those that never once sought the honor, but earned it. While the average person would run from harm's way, they ran towards it, committing themselves to hundreds of people in need in what may have been the worst moments of their lives. Deputy Chief Mark Lowry says leading these first responders is easy. It is them who makes the toughest challenges yield the brightest results in the darkest hours.
If you have the opportunity, turn around and take a look. That's about a third of my staff. I get a little choked up every time I talk about them. That is, the men and women you see there are probably the most professional, knowledgeable and kind folks that you can ask for. And that's the team that shows up on time, every time, when you dial 911. The 12th was a very challenging day, And this is the group of folks that made it happen. I would love to take credit for it. I had nothing to do with it. This is your team, so thank you.
There was plenty of high praise from public safety and township leadership, but also from those who know the life of a first responder, such as Trustee Diane Rosenfeld-Swimmer, a career nurse, and Ray Ahonen, who spent 20 years serving in the West Bloomfield Fire Department.
I, too, am one of those people that worked and had no snow days, no sick days, no holidays, worked every holiday, every Christmas, every New Year's Eve, every New Year's Day. So I want to tell you from the very bottom of my heart how appreciative of you, how appreciative I am of you and what you do every day, putting your lives on the line for complete strangers. Thank you.
The oath that police, fire, and the other agencies, our local, state, federal friends took, that was revealed to the very depth of its core. And I say this most respectfully, I don't know that they would have needed taken an oath. They would have been there. They would have done it. They would have marched into that, and they did a phenomenal job.
On March 12th, in the wake of a horrific act of hate, West Bloomfield's first responders displayed their love for the community that they serve. Now their leaders call for that example to be the calling card of the community. Love for one another.
I believe we all, myself included, in this community get very high grades on everything that happened on the 12th. And I just salute all that came to the rescue. But we have to listen to one another. We need to work together so all voices are heard, motivated to learn from one another, listen to each other, respect each other, and cherish the truly, truly diverse culture that we live in here in West Bloomfield.
On behalf of the Chaldean community, we've been honored by everybody. I got interviewed by a magazine in New York City, and it's an honor. But I want you guys to remember this. If this had happened to us, Temple Israel would have been right there for us. So we're all one. As far as I'm concerned, we're all one.
May we hold our children a little tighter every evening. May our loved ones and friends abundantly and profoundly know how we feel about them. God bless our community. And 12 days ago, ladies and gentlemen, the very face of evil, visited Temple, Israel, but so did good, so did right, and so did hope. That's who we are.
A lesson for us all. When you give your heart and soul for the good of others, you bring a lot of good to the world. We appreciate the work of all of our first responders on March 12th and every other day as they continue to serve our community and neighboring communities through things like the Oakway Partnership that bring safety and comfort to those in communities all around Greater West Bloomfield and beyond. Experience and training also all of the praises of first responders in the wake of the attack at Temple, Israel 2 weeks ago. Former West Bloomfield Police Chief and now West Bloomfield Township Trustee Michael Patton praising the training opportunities as well as community support of our public safety departments for its role in the rescue 2 weeks ago.
It was very difficult for me personally that day because being a part of that public safety team, I wanted to go to the scene. I wanted to be part of that. I wanted to go over there and do something, but that's not the hat I wear anymore. My hat is here on the township board. So on that day when I came in, I met with the supervisor, and basically, I was so very confident that our police and fire people they knew what to do. They didn't always know what they were going to be facing when they showed up, but they knew what to do because we had trained in equipment. We had picked good leaders, and we recruit the best men and women to come to these agencies and to work here in this and serve in this township. And we are so very proud and grateful to all of you. So thank you.
Absolutely is the case, and they have undergone training even as far as just a little over a month before what happened at Temple, Israel. That certainly played a role in that rapid response and the quality of that response on that day, getting all 106 kids out of that building, as well as the staff and others. And of course, the credit goes to the security team there as well for their training with the West Bloomfield Police Department and other local public safety agencies that also played a role in that rescue. After a harrowing day like March 12th, our first responders keep the events with them in ways that most of us may never be capable of understanding. But within their own ranks, the support they need to cope also is there, while continuing to allow them to practice their heroic profession every single day. Jonathan Montgomery has the story.
Being a firefighter or EMS operator isn't always easy. It could take a toll on your mental health, and sometimes make it hard to tell others about what you're going through. But West Bloomfield has done a great job in changing all that. Today, I'll talk to two leaders of the peer support team.
I've been in the fire service for 27, 28 years and with West Bloomfield for 22 years now. And there has been, I would say within the last decade or so, a big push for mental health, and especially among first responders, and the things that we see, the cumulative effects on people. And just really proud that our department is one of Oakway departments that have a peer support team. And we've noticed that it's just brought more, say, like awareness amongst the crews that this is, that the stigma is not out there like it used to be, that you have to be tough and keep it all in, and people will talk more openly around the table, you know, around meal times, or maybe share a little bit more that is bothering them of a call they have been on, and share that more freely than they used to do, say, 20 years ago.
It's what most of what we do is we go out for what we call debriefings, and it's part of this critical incident stress management program that we all take a class for. So it's not like we're just cowboying around talking about like how does that make you feel without any licensure or anything. We stick to a script that we took in the class, and then that's been proven to help people get over incidents quicker, because most people are able to get over incidents. It just takes time, and with debriefings, it's been shown to shorten that time that it takes them to get over the difficult emotions that come with seeing things.
The peer support team is not just saying, how do you feel? But they're diving deep into mental health to help the public servants of this community. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jonathan Montgomery.
Diving deeper into experiences that only they know about the work that they do in our community, helping firefighters and other EMS workers learn the coping skills that they need to be able to deal with what they experience on a day-to-day basis, and acknowledging that that is a normal part of the job and are normal feelings for people in this line of work to feel. Really good news from the West Bloomfield Fire Department that is in place. It's also a similar sentiment over at the West Bloomfield Police Department and other public safety departments, especially now in the wake of what was experienced nearly 2 weeks ago at this point at Temple, Israel. The West Bloomfield Water Department has also been very busy as of late between the water main break and then emergency operational aid to first responders in response to what happened at Temple Israel on March 12th. They are some of the unsung heroes of our local public services. We sent reporter Jake Schaff to get an inside look at their day-to-day work.
Having access to clean and safe drinking water is one of those resources most residents don't realize they have until it's too late. And when disaster strikes, teams work effectively to make sure that the situation doesn't last longer than it needs to. The West Bloomfield Water and Sewer Department is no different, keeping tabs on the community 24/7 and jumping into action the second that something goes wrong.
As you know, everybody needs water. So our main goal is to make sure that customers have water. If you live in the township, make sure you have water as well. So when it comes to main breaks, what we try to do is get it done quick as possible without damaging anybody's potable water or anything. So our main goal is to make sure that customers in mind first. So main breaks are hectic, and we all know that, but we try to make sure it's less stressful for everybody.
We have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We have on-call staff. So if there's an emergency after hours, we're getting that call and being dispatched through the police dispatch, and then we respond to those, get out there as fast as we can to limit the interruption to your service. When we have a break in our system, we have isolation valves or gate valves on the water system. So if the break is between 2 or 3 valves, it's a matter of shutting those down and then getting the repair crew out there to dig that up, replace the broken infrastructure, and getting it back in line.
What is it like to have a job where you really have to jump into action just like that?
That's when I enjoy my job the most, honestly. But yeah, we've got a great staff here. Our field guys are on a lot of things before we as supervisors ever have to deal with anything. And then as supervisors, we're constantly communicating with each other. So we tend to limit, I'll say, the emergencies that we can control. Obviously, there are external factors involved that can cause things, but we're prepared for almost anything.
A lot of people think it'd be stressful. It is at times, depending on the task at hand. But we're already here. Everybody's been trained to a point to where they know how to do certain things, and we work as a team. So even if it's one person out on the call, they have access to myself, the other up guys, and other staff here. So you're never really alone, but we work together to make sure that we come to the greater good and get the things fixed. At whatever the task is hand, we can fix it.
We're here, we're working for you. We're keeping you safe, keeping the water safe to drink, keeping the waste, moving it away from your homes and your businesses. And that if you need anything, we are a phone call away, but we're here to keep you safe.
It's extensive work from the West Bloomfield Water and Sewer Department, making sure everyone's water is clean, drinkable, and safe to use, as they always have an eye on the community and are always ready to jump in and save the day. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
Yeah, it should be noted that during the water main break, it was the West Bloomfield Water Department and their emergency operations planning, execution, the level of expertise that helped to limit the number of boil water advisories that happened in our local area, including here in West Bloomfield Township. Some of their emergency switchovers were what was the difference between West Bloomfield having a boil water advisory, as well as those in nearby communities like Commerce Township and Walled Lake that were nearly on those same boil water advisories as other communities like Novi and parts of Wixom that did experience that during the water main break. It was those emergency turnarounds, the level of expertise, the rapid response, and the proficiency of that team at the water department that made all of that happen and kept water available during a very sudden, quite severe crisis. You can see more about what happened during the water main break crisis a couple of weekends ago and get more insight from the West Bloomfield Water Department on our Facebook page at Civic Center TV 15, which includes a link to the Water Department's Facebook page, or visit wbtownship.org for more information. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. On the other side, more details and insights into the response at Temple Israel from the perspective of our first responders. Plus, as spring comes about in West Bloomfield, but Mother Nature may be against the way a little bit, you'll have more opportunities to get out on the links right here close to home. Stay with us. Live, local, social. The Splash Live returns after this.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
What people are watching in Orchard Lake, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM.
I'm Gina Gregory, president of the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. I'm excited that Civic Center TV has reached 1 million views on YouTube. Congratulations. That's just terrific. We appreciate everything Civic Center does for the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society and the community. For us, they promote and highlight our events. It's awesome to have them available 24/7 on YouTube. I'm Gina Gregory and proud to be one in a million.
Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live. We are live, local, social, all across Greater West Bloomfield, all throughout your week. Stay up to date on all of our programming and learn more about what's happening in your community on demand and on the go. CivicCenterTV.com, as well as all across our social media, Facebook at Civic Center TV 15, and then you can find us pretty much everywhere else, Instagram, YouTube, and on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Civic Center TV. On West Bloomfield's darkest day, a massive coordination of effort for the rescue of over 140 people inside Temple Israel was successful as a result of the work of experts in our public safety departments, including the West Bloomfield Fire Department's EMS rescue team. Jake Schaff spoke to EMS coordinator Blake Belsky right here on the Splash Live to learn more about their incredible life-saving work on that day.
Blake, thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning, Jake. I appreciate you having me on.
Of course, obviously wish that this were under a lighter topic, but we do want to hear your perspective from this day in West Bloomfield. And Blake, the 911 call came in at about quarter after noon when your team arrived and saw the smoke billowing from the front entrance. What was the first priority for the fire and EMS units regarding the children that were still inside the building?
Well, luckily, our fire and EMS crews, they are familiar with the building. They're familiar with the folks who use that building day to day. And combined with the information that was available from our dispatchers at the time, we didn't even need to wait until we got on scene to start thinking about what our first actions were going to be. I'm sure our crews that were racing there were thinking about who's inside, how do we get them out safely, how do we shelter them in place, if that's going to be the most important thing. And then once they got on scene and obviously confirmed that there was in fact a fire in the building, they know it's time to get to work. And the biggest concern is how do we keep everyone safe with such a complicated incident with fire and, you know, the criminal activity that led to the fire starting in the first place.
I'd imagine it would be a lot of chaos dealing with a situation like this, especially with so many students, 104 students that were inside the building. What were the immediate safety risks that you had to mitigate in that situation?
Well, the first thing is to make sure that the kids and the staff, all the occupants of the building, make sure that they stay safe. In some cases, maybe it's going to be a shelter-in-place situation. Maybe the safest thing for them to do is to stay exactly where they are. And that could be different based on where they were located in the building. This is a decision that our crews have to make in real time with the information that they have available. And sometimes the information changes. Once we found out that the fire was, contained where it was, they've got a fantastic sprinkler system that contained that fire. The smoke was the biggest issue. But then it became an issue of how do we, once we know they're protected from the fire, how do we protect them from the attackers? however many there were. We didn't know at the time if there was one attack, 2, 3 people involved. We didn't know if there were explosive devices that were going to be deployed at some point. So it became an issue of how do we make sure that these people stay safe no matter where they are, and make sure we take action for that.
That's right. Obviously, there were a lot of unknowns at that situation, that information that we didn't know now, that we know now that we did not know at the time. So that obviously probably caused a bit more chaos and worry as you were navigating the situation. Now, dealing with 100 toddlers and preschoolers and keeping them calm, that's a tall order no matter the situation. As an EMS coordinator, how did you keep these toddlers in line and keeping them, and as you're moving them through an active, high-intensity crime scene?
I'd love to be able to take credit for keeping these kids calm, but all of that credit goes to the staff. We were very fortunate to have their teachers, their caregivers, and eventually their parents at the reunification center across the street. The folks who know the kids and the folks that the kids know and are comfortable around, they're the ones who were able to keep them calm. In spite of all of the feelings and emotions that they were experiencing, they were able to, set those aside, deal with them later, but not only keep the kids safe, but keep them relatively comfortable in a very strange situation. You can imagine any change in a routine for a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old is going to be a big event. Dragging them out of their classroom in a chaotic situation where there's obviously a fire, there's obviously something amiss, dragging them outside without their coats and taking them to an entirely new location and having to figure that out. The fire department, the police department, none of the responders can take credit for keeping these kids calm. All the credit goes to the staff of Temple Israel and the staff at Shenandoah Country Club for keeping them sheltered and fed the whole time.
That's right. It was a community effort all throughout Greater West Bloomfield, with Shenandoah and Temple Israel's team also coming to the aid of these kids. Now, talking about the staff at the Early Childhood Center, they had just completed active shooter training back in January. How did their discipline and lockdown procedures make your job easier as you move the kids to safety?
I mean, obviously, the first thing we noticed is that the kids were safe when we got there. That is a credit to the training that teachers went through, that they paid attention and were able to put those lessons to practice. I don't think any of us who have to go through active shooter training, whether it's as a responder or as just a member of the community, school teachers and people that work in offices, none of us ever go through that training and think, oh, this is something I'm going to need next week. Thank goodness that these teachers went through the training and learned from it. We had teachers who had their go bags full of supplies, evacuation instructions, first aid supplies in case that they needed it, in case someone got injured, leaving the building, let alone from the attack. And everyone was prepared, and it showed. They did a fantastic job. I can't say enough good things about them.
For those just joining us on the Splash Live, I'm talking with West Bloomfield Fire Department EMS Coordinator Blake Belsky, who's talking about the fire department's response to that harrowing attack on Temple Israel that took place recently. And Blake, what I remember from that day, there was a ton of police and fire units out on that site, roughly 80 units, to ensure the path from the building to the transport vehicles was secure. Can you describe that human shield or the perimeter that was established by these law enforcement officers?
Well, one thing about law enforcement, when they hear that something bad is happening, they don't even wait for an invitation. They start showing up in droves, and that was apparent to anyone who saw any of that footage or happened to be on scene. There were hundreds of police officers ready to help. And once we had the actual threat contained, the next thing became to make sure that students and staff were able to evacuate safely. And so we put those hundreds of officers on scene to work, making sure that those students were protected. Again, with these attacks, I use this term seriously, these terrorist incidents, we don't know until the incident is over if there's one attacker, 2 attackers, if there's going to be devices in the parking lot that are going to cause harm as evacuation occurs. So the priority becomes getting them to a safe environment and making sure they transport there safely. And part of that is putting the people with eyes who know what to look for and have some shield, some protective armor that they can move these kids safely. Put them in the way in between the kids and any potential harm. And we were lucky to have no shortage of officers on scene prepared to do that work.
That's right. It was great to have all of these officers on scene during this situation. Now, the decision was made to move the children to the Shenandoah Country Club for reunification. What were the logistics of that transport while Walnut Lake Road was effectively a parking lot for emergency vehicles?
Well, we had some luck as far as Shenandoah being in such close proximity to Temple Israel. The folks that had to come over there on foot, it didn't take a whole lot of time. We had some other folks that evacuated to a home in the neighborhood behind Temple Israel, as a matter of fact, and I believe they were picked up by a bus and brought over to Shenandoah, so that we had all of the evacuees in one spot for reunification. Moving any vehicles, buses, personal vehicles, even emergency vehicles, through a sea of hundreds of police cars and fire trucks and ambulances does become a bit of an issue. We had lots of folks that were ready to move cars as needed, whether it was the police officers moving their own vehicles. Some of those police officers were busy and couldn't give us their keys, so we did have tow trucks on site ready to just scoop cars out of the way as needed so we could clear a path for other arriving emergency vehicles, buses that are performing evacuations, and ultimately for the families to be able to leave and go home safely.
Wow, that is a lot to navigate for these kids and for anybody who was at Temple Israel and at that scene that day. Now, Blake, as a first responder, you're trained for the technical side of this, but what was the atmosphere like at the reunification site the moment those kids were finally handed back to their parents?
Oh, well, I'd love to say I have more experience and more training with family reunification, but this was my first time. I was asked by Chief Lowry to set up family reunification efforts at Shenandoah, and thank goodness Shenandoah, I mean, you want to talk about the hospitality business, they have gone above and beyond what anyone could have expected from them in this community. So proud of what they were willing to do and what they were able to do for us. We pretty much commandeered a ballroom for family reunification, and we made sure that it kind of became a de facto preschool again. We took attendance. We had classrooms kind of separated so that we could find people easily as parents came in. And we had, again, plenty of law enforcement to help us sign parents in, make sure nobody leaves with a kid that they aren't supposed to leave with and that we didn't know was leaving. Everyone was super cooperative. And again, we could not have done this without the help of Shenandoah and without the cooperation and the assistance from all of these staff and teachers at Temple Israel. It was as good as we could have hoped for.
I imagine so. Big team effort from everybody. Blake, we are running short on time. I got one more question before we wrap things up. Looking at the damage to the building and the intensity of that fire, how proud are you of the fact that every single student and staff member made it out without a single physical injury?
It's incredible. It's incredible. And again, I would love to, we would love to take credit for it, but this was absolutely a partnership. This was a huge credit to the training of our first responders, the training of everyone at Temple Israel, and the training and cooperation from the community. If we hadn't had folks keeping Walnut Lake clear and trying to get through the neighborhoods, we couldn't have done this as smoothly as it worked out. So thank you to everyone in the community for your support, your cooperation, and we hope we never have to do this again.
I couldn't agree more to that. And Blake, we thank you for the work that you, the fire department, and all of our first responders did in protecting West Bloomfield that day, navigating through the chaos, and keeping everybody safe. Thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you, Jake. Have a great weekend.
Appreciate the insight from Captain Belsky on what his team went through in the EMS coordination that day. That was a big day and a big coordination of departments from across Greater West Bloomfield and around Oakland County, all of those different teams coming in, making sure everybody's in the right place, moving people to the right place, everybody's getting out of Temple Israel safely to Shenandoah or other rendezvous locations safely, and not only coordinating EMS for those that are affected in the building at Temple Israel, but those affected by going into the building as well, as there were several members of our first responder team in Greater West Bloomfield and throughout Oakland County that We're dealing with smoke inhalation in the wake of what happened at Temple Israel on March 12th. A massive coordination. Huge thank you to the West Bloomfield Fire Department. If you want to learn more about what they do on a day-to-day basis or follow them for more public safety information as we go into the spring and the summer seasons as well, follow them on Facebook at WB Fire Department. Spring is on the horizon, which means it is golf season. We'll have more information on how you can turn your love of golf into a year-long activity, regardless of the weather, after this quick break on the Splash Live. Live, local, social will return after this.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
Hello, my name is Danya Bazzi. I'm the superintendent of West Bloomfield School District. I want to congratulate Civic Center TV on hitting the amazing milestone of 1 million viewers. Your involvement in our community doesn't go unnoticed. We thank you for keeping our residents and community engaged in the latest and greatest news and information. I'm Danya Bazzi, and I'm proud to be 1 in a million.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
1 in 4 Michigan homes has high levels of radon, a naturally occurring radioactive gas known to cause lung cancer. It doesn't matter where you live or what type of home you have. You won't even know it's there unless you test. So don't wait. Testing is cheap and easy, and if there's a problem, it's simple to fix. Visit michigan.gov/radon to learn more.
We took action. Will you?
Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
We are live, local, social across Greater West Bloomfield here on the Splash Live. Welcome back. I'm Tyler Keefe. Thanks for joining our team at Civic Center TV each and every day from the latest that's going on in your community. Keep up to date and learn more on civiccentertv.com, where you can also see all of our local municipal meetings and live events coming up, including the West Bloomfield Youth Assistance Youth Recognition Awards. And then, hey, just a few weeks from now, we're coming up on Michigan Week as well. Going to be a busy spring season. Of course, with spring on the horizon, that means it is golf season in Greater West Bloomfield and beyond. But of course, we live in Michigan. Mother Nature sometimes gets in the way. Should that happen, your day on the links no longer has to go away, just has to move indoors. Joining us with all of the inside information on how that will work is Leonard Fox from the Back Nine, which recently opened a new location right here in West Bloomfield Township. Leonard, thanks for coming on the show today.
Oh, you're welcome. It's an honor.
Yeah, glad to have you on. As you opened the Back Nine, you got locations here in West Bloomfield as well as in Clarkston. What was the inspiration behind this concept?
Well, the inspiration behind it was I really wasn't an avid golfer. I just started playing 2 years ago. But once I started playing, I understood that it's not only a sport, but it's also a community. It's a lifestyle. So it gives golf accessible to all walks of life, all income levels. So it was actually enlightening and very inspiring for me to start an indoor golf facility.
And these golf simulators, they're not a new concept. We've seen them pop up all throughout the country, all throughout the world. They've become massively popular in just a short period of time. What sets this West Bloomfield location apart from other competitors in the nearby area or even other locations of the Back Nine? What makes ours special?
Ours is special because we put it together, understanding what the community likes. It's a public place, but it has a private vibe. So we're membership based, but we also have public tee times. We created the facility to have the type of style that's welcoming to the community of West Bloomfield. So when you come in, it feels like you're at home, but it also feels like you're at a private golf club.
And creating that environment where you do sort of have that private golf club field, how does that add to the customer experience, especially for those that come back to the back nine after their first trip?
Our technology is absolutely outstanding. It's backed by Tiger Woods, John Rahm, and some other professionals, along with Josh Allen. So great avid golfers are behind the technology, and it improves every day. So you have that, and also we have the Vive where you can play music, you can stream sports. It's just like playing in your basement, but with the elegant touch.
And this has only been open for a few weeks at the time that we're speaking now in late March. It opened in late February. What's the response been from the West Bloomfield community and surrounding areas in that first month or so since your business opened here?
It's been tremendous. I'm so excited to be a part of the community. I didn't buy a business. I bought in to be a part of the West Bloomfield community. A matter of fact, we are hosting a fundraiser for the West Bloomfield High School golf team. We're going to, on April 14th, we're having a 9-man scramble. All those proceeds to go back to the community, to the high school, to assist the players this up and coming season, which has already begun. So I'm so excited about the activity that we're getting. It's a cool place for people to come hang out, and we're starting to see a lot of activity.
Leonard Fox joins us on the Splash Live today from the Back Nine, which is an indoor golf simulator facility now in West Bloomfield, also with a location in Clarkston. He joins us on the Splash today. More information can be found on theback9golf.com or follow them on Instagram at B9Golf West Bloomfield. That's B9Golf West Bloomfield for more information. Leonard, you mentioned yourself earlier on. You've only really been a golfer for a couple of years. I'm not a golfer. I'm a former caddy. Obviously, that didn't work out, so I went into television. For those that maybe aren't golf enthusiasts, maybe have never picked up a club before, but they want to get into golf, how does something like this help them immerse themselves in that experience, dip their toe into the water, so to speak?
Well, you really get to come in and you get to play and don't have to drive all over the place, wonder about losing the ball. Once you start to play, you understand the data, and what the data is telling you exactly what the club is doing. It's actually a comfortable environment where you really don't have to worry about embarrassing yourself or losing a golf ball.
How have you found that this experience does help people then translate that interest in maybe diving into the world of golf to then becoming golf enthusiasts like yourself?
Could you please repeat that? I missed the first portion.
How have you seen this experience that people get at a place like the Back Nine turn them from someone interested in golf into someone that does become an avid golfer?
So once they come in and have a good time, and then eventually they become members. And then once they become members, they may take some lessons. And then once they dive into understanding what the data is telling them, you get hooked. I'm a product of that.
Leonard Fox is with us from the Back Nine, now with a location in West Bloomfield. You want to see more of what they got going on over there, follow them on Instagram at B9Golf West Bloomfield. Leonard, we're up against it. We've got to move on here in just a couple of minutes. But before we go, what is your hope for people to come out to the Back Nine? What do you hope their experience is when they come in? And what do you believe they may be surprised with their experience after they leave your location?
I hope they come in and experience a welcoming environment and have the ultimate experience from a golf standpoint. We pride ourselves in great customer service. We are a part of the community, so that's not my business, it's the community's business. And when they leave, they'll be blown away by the decor and by the way the technology actually responds.
It's going to be a great experience for people in our community. So many others that have brought golf simulators into their community have seen a massive response and great popularity. So definitely going to be a big boom for our local business community and get some people out to West Bloomfield for some golf, indoors, outdoors, and all beyond. It all gets inspired in one place, the Back Nine in West Bloomfield. Before we let you go, Leonard, anything else that you would like people to know at this time about the Back Nine's new West Bloomfield location?
Yes, I like to give the address. It's 4301 Orchard Lake Road, Suite 145. We're located in the Crosswinds Plaza, a few doors down from Kroger's.
Yeah, it's right on the Orchard Lake Road in the heart of West Bloomfield, near Kroger, right next door, looks like, to Uptown Parthenon, which is another location so many people go to. Right in the heart of West Bloomfield, a place where people can go. Rain or shine, your golf experience is never over here in West Bloomfield Township. Leonard, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. More information on the Back Nine can be found on back9golf.com. That's theback9golf.com. Or as I mentioned earlier on, follow them on Instagram at B9Golf West Bloomfield. As the sun shines and the weather warms, Kego Harbor rushes to the great outdoors and packs the Orchard Lake Road corridor for a tradition that unofficially calls the beginning of spring in the heart of the lakes, gathering for a tasty treat at their local Dairy Queen. We sent reporter Jake Schaff out for a free cone day to talk to ice cream lovers as they enjoy the sunshine and that tasty treat.
The spring season is coming in bloom everywhere you look throughout Greater West Bloomfield. And right here in Kego Harbor is one of the true milestones that tells us of the changing season. It's Free Cone Day here at the Kego Harbor Dairy Queen, and we have seen plenty of people coming out to enjoy the cold, delicious treats and to be saying goodbye to the winter and hello to a warm spring and summer season.
Oh, it's definitely springtime. Look at this turnout. We couldn't even find a parking spot, so we're glad to be here. The sun's out. It's warm out today. We don't even need coats, so it's beautiful.
Honestly, ice cream, it makes everyone so much happier, and especially with the winter closing up, everyone's so sad. We have one marking period left, and it feels like you're walking up a steep hill in flip-flops, so it's never gonna get there, and ice cream just brightens everyone's day and makes it feel a lot faster.
A lot of people are just really excited to get the free ice cream as well. It's sunny out, so a lot of people are very happy that it's better weather than the last few days we've had. A lot of people are just really excited. I feel like a lot of people come together, hang out with their friends to come get ice cream. As well, a lot of people just are okay, it's getting warm out and getting ready for summer.
I mean, everyone loves ice cream during the summer, so them getting something free, them getting a free ice cream come really just makes their day.
Honestly, I think it signifies, spring's on the way. It's time to get out, have some fun, especially in Waterford, West Bloomfield area, a lot of lakes. Time to get your boat in the water, get out with some friends, have some fun.
Oh, it's just a great time of year. The days are getting longer. We got more daylight. The leaves are coming on the trees. It's going to get warmer out. And pretty soon, the best time of the year, summertime, is just around the corner.
Happy memories and delicious treats are everywhere you look here in Greater West Bloomfield as we look forward to a beautiful spring season that's making its way to the community. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
A bright, beautiful, sunny day and an experience that Kego Harbor and its neighbors love to go out and enjoy every single year. I drove by that on the way to go set up for their city council meeting in Kego Harbor that evening. It was packed over there. I actually saw Jake interacting with a couple of people, getting some of those interviews. It was a very fun day out there when it was Free Cone Day. And of course, now the DQ is open on Orchard Lake Road all throughout the season. So whenever it's a warm day, you're going to see a whole lot of people there in the heart of the lakes. History prevails at Orchard Lake Schools as a donation from the class of 1975 will help to maintain and restore a landmark on campus, the St. Mary's Water Tower, constructed all the way back when the school was home to the Michigan Military Academy. Joining me now to talk about the details of the $250,000 restoration project is Orchard Lake St. Mary's alum Kellen Rosansky. Kellen, thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, hey, thanks for having me today. And regarding the Orchard Lake schools and the Unity Tower project, we're excited about it.
Yeah, I saw a note about this from another Orchard Lake alum recently who sent this story over to us. It's such a cool story because of the history behind that campus that many people may not know about in our community. So, for example, this Unity Tower, an 1875 water tower, what connection does it have to Orchard Lake St. Mary's?
Well, okay, so you got to picture this. The Michigan Military Academy it started the campus, and they wanted to, they used the tower. So inside the tower is a huge water tank. And this water tank, if gravity fed to the boiler system, and back then they used coal to fire it up, and they dug underground tunnels and pipes, and they piped steam to the various buildings that they had on campus. You know, the administration building, the school building, the dormitory. So it's the main focal point of the campus. Then they call it the quad area.
And so what was the inspiration for the class of 1975 to take the lead on the restoration effort? Why was this so important to that particular graduating class?
Well, okay, so the class of 75, so how this all started is I took initiative to get our classmates that I graduated with in 1975. The Orchard Lake School Systems has a alumni weekend event once a year. So we were fortunate enough to celebrate our 50th graduation together. So I contacted everybody, you know, with today's technology, WhatsApp and everything, it's great. You can SMS, text, and get a hold of people. So we all got together, and the beauty of this is when we get together, you know, we're like kids again. You're talking about back in the early 70s when we started going to school there for 4 years. It was a all boys dormitory, and you lived on campus. You weren't allowed to go home. We grew up together basically, and learned a lot of good values, religion. We went to church every day, sometimes 3 times a day. Academics was outstanding. We went to school 6 days a week, and we were disciplined. And it made us who we are today. And that's, you know, it taught us to respect people, authority, and we're also grateful that we had that ability. We're giving back to what made us.
And in the current condition of the water tower, why is restoration necessary now to keep, as you mentioned earlier on, such an iconic landmark of that campus alive for another over 100 years that's already been up and running at Orchard Lake Schools?
Okay, so as you can see in the pictures, the water tower is in need of some serious repair, okay? The shingles are falling off, the windows are broken, the brickwork requires some restoration, and we have got contractors involved, roofing, windows, some brick cleaning, and some tucking of the brick. We're going to do some superior lighting, LED lighting. We want to keep it a traditional look from back then, but we also want to modernize it. And by doing that, we're going to call it the Unity Tower, and there's going to be Unity Tower signage on it. There's going to be LED lights on the outside and the inside of the building. And it'll be able to electronically controlled and change the different colors of the lights. And this water tank that's housed up inside the tower, we're going to actually paint it. And the reason they're going to be painted is because it'll help reflect the lighting from the inside of the tower. We're really, it's in definitely need of some serious repair, and we are on it.
Do you hope that this effort that the class of 1975 is putting forward, both financially but also just philosophically, restoring such an iconic part of that campus, inspires the restoration of other parts of what still is part of the historic Michigan Military Academy campus, so many of those original buildings, keeping those alive and that history preserved for generations to come?
Oh, absolutely. Since we've got this project underway, there's other projects that and need repair. There's a historical bell that's up in the school roof area that is a brass bell that is from 1875 or 1904, in that era range there, that we want to get restored. There's a clock on the school building that it originally had a partial restoration, but it quit working. The face of the top of the building. There is a new gym, a new gym that another alumni from 1944 has taken upon himself to help enlarge the locker room and move the weight room up to the second floor. There's a castle building from originally the Michigan military that's in need of repair. Yes, and it's all coming together. It really is. And the more people that hear about it, more alumni and outside people, it's like a train that's moving down the road. We're getting more people aboard and soliciting donations to help us out, with the funding.
Kellen Rosansky is with us from the Orchard Lake St. Mary's class of 1975, which is helping to restore the historic water tower on campus that they will now be calling the Unity Tower for generations of St. Mary's alumni to come. Kellen, before we let you go, in an age where so many historic buildings are being put to the wayside, they're being left alone, they're being demolished, the history is being removed from our communities and communities nearby, why do you believe it's important for us here in Greater West Bloomfield, in Orchard Lake, on St. Mary's campus and beyond, to preserve these pieces of our heritage?
Well, basically, the Orchard Lake school system now owns the property and runs the organization over there at 3535 Commerce Road. And it's important that the school has great value, great tradition, Polish legacy. It also has two other distinct unified institutions, the St. John Paul II Liturgical Center, and then also the Polish Institute of Culture and Research. Okay. The students, we want to keep the legacy going when we're gone, and it's great to send your boys and girls or your children to the school so they can get a good education, religious background, athletics is outstanding, and become very good citizens and just help the community. And that's what it's all about. And by us restoring it, just keeps the legacy going. And we want to be remembered, the class of 1975. And before I leave, I'd like to just give a few names of a few people, if it's okay, that are involved in the project with you, sir.
Absolutely.
Okay. So a special thanks to the great class of 1975 and Bob Grin. Also, I'd like to make a special thanks to the following Orchard Lake St. Mary's personnel: Chris Charnick, Robert Mazur, Lisa Gray, and the Chief Finance, Mirko Vulkek. And then there's Paul Melarovich from the class of 1972 is very he's a historical data center is what I call him. He is very knowledgeable on the whole history of the campus. Also, some of the contractors, Brett Lefko is a project manager that's helping us out to organize and stage the project itself. We also got David Bartsitz, the architect that's out of Rochester Hills and Niagara McBruno, and then Kanga Roof. The bottom line, it's just all these people, it's so good for us to put it together. And, of course, we got the contractors have been signed. We have the initial funding started. We still need some donations and to keep the project going and the other projects like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, already $250,000 raised by the class of 1975. Appreciate the work that they're putting in. And a big thank you from our side to Paul Melerovitz from the class of 1972 for submitting that tip to us on our contact page on civiccentertv.com. Kellen, thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, hey, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Let me know if there's anything I can ever do. And please, if anybody wants to get involved, certainly step up. It's www.orchardlakeschools.com. The phone number is 248-682-1885 if you would like to help with any of the projects or have any of your children attend the school. You won't be sorry, that I can tell you.
All creating that sense of community pride that spans the generation, connecting the old to the new and providing those memories at those landmarks that are a hallmark of each and every graduating class, whether you're at the elementary, middle, high school, or even college level. Everyone has those special memories in those special places. Preserving those places for generations to come keeps those memories alive and connects those generations. Love the work that's being done by the class of 1975 at Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Close to home, creatives from across Greater West Bloomfield had their chance to shine at the main library for the local author fair over the past weekend. We sent reporter Jake Schaff out there to get a little bit of insight on the experience of those buying the books and those who made them in the process.
Here in Greater West Bloomfield, we take every opportunity that we can to highlight creativity throughout the community. And just recently, the West Bloomfield Township Public Library put together their annual local author fair, providing residents the chance to speak with local West Bloomfield authors to learn more about their writing process and to gain all-important tips on possibly becoming authors themselves, as these authors look to inspire everyone they can and to help the next generation of young authors.
It was really energizing to see that all these people live in our community and they have these eclectic interests and knowledge and stories to share. So I was really surprised at the variety.
And this is also inspiring for a lot of people, like especially people stopping by this event who are looking to maybe delve into the world of writing and creating a book themselves, wouldn't you say?
Yes, and that's actually another reason why I came. I have a picture book coming out in the fall. So I am brand new. This is my first picture book, so I'm brand new to this world. So I was like, what does an author event look like? And just make some connections and find out what other authors do. For sure. I learned a lot, and it's just really energizing to see all these creative minds and what they can produce and make.
I'm in the middle of writing a book, Edge of Oblivion. It's mostly an idea now, but I'm thinking of continuing it when the more I get older. I've felt discouraged a lot of times, so it just kind of helped me realize that there are many people that do this a lot, as their day-to-day lives. So I realized that me just doing it as a hobby can eventually lead to that.
Transmitting some of that creative energy into work, into becoming an author. Authorship is just, again, very inspiring. I'm not an author, so I'm happy to be in the company of people who are and who are able to channel their passion into something really productive. Especially as a child or someone or growing up preteens, teens, young adults, growing and kind of trying, maybe finding yourself and seeing, what am I good at? What do I love? What is inspiring? And so having these examples, I think, are amazing, and it's excellent. And all of these people were maybe in a similar stage where they were wondering, I'm really interested in this. How can I channel that energy into something productive and something that could be useful and inspiring for somebody else? So it's super cool.
Just that we have all these wonderful things right in our backyard, all these creative outlets and people doing things that behind closed doors that we might not notice. And it's just a really great way to connect with community.
So many people looking to dip their toes into the writing world as they get to learn from accomplished authors themselves. It's all about paying it forward and inspiring the next generation who might even guest at a future local author fair in West Bloomfield, hoping to do the same. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
A lot of people excited about reading and a lot of people excited about writing. That's the third annual local author fair. Pretty much going to be back for the fourth year. You can expect that. More information on the details of when that will happen, or maybe other author fairs that pop up along the way, wblib.org, or follow the West Bloomfield Township Public Library for events and information at both of their locations on Facebook and Instagram at West Bloom LIB. That's our show. I want to remind you that television that's close to home is always online on civiccentertv.com and all over our social media. Big thank you to our crew in studio and out in the field for making today's show possible, and for you for joining in on today's adventure. For our entire team, I'm Tyler Kieft. Live, local, social. Thanks for tuning in to The Splash Live on Civic Center TV.